We grew up in a system where we are being taught to survive. But what happens when a woman begins to build a future where people can thrive? Welcome to the Speak With Our podcast. My name is Olaoshebiko Miriam. You can call me Mary the Talker, and I am excited to be the host on today's episode titled Women Creating the Future of Africa. Is this your first time tuning in? This is a space where we invite women from diverse fields and professions to inspire, educate, and empower next generation, especially young girls. Joining me as always is my amazing co-host, but she will soon join us. And in the studio today, we have a special guest speaker all the way from Kenya. She's someone that do not talk about change just from a distance. She stands at the center of it. She is the founder of Zolangi Foundation, if I'm correct, Zolangi Foundation, where she has given her leadership skills, her energy, and her life's power in creating one vision, which is building an Africa where people and every young youth, every child, do not just survive but thrive. She is a global ambassador of the United Nations Global Leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Ma'am Ursula Maboya.
For having me.
Thanks for being here, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we really do appreciate your presence here, ma'am. So before we dive into the conversation, for those that are just seeing you for the first time due to curiosity, I would love you to introduce yourself, ma'am.
Yes, so my name is Ursula Maboya. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, but my parents are from Congo. So there are two Congos. So I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo, so the Kinshasa Congo. I'm the founder of a nonprofit called Zolangi Foundation, and there is very focused on empowering women and children and the youth in the DRC. Through Zolangi Foundation, I think some years ago, I think like 3 years ago, we also did an outreach in Kenya. That's a bit about myself. I have a background in, I studied biology and laboratory sciences. But I work in sales and marketing now. So I still work in the pharmaceutical field, but I don't work in the laboratory anymore. So that's a bit about myself. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. That's a bit about me.
Okay, so we all know that you are the founder of Zolangi Foundation. So, and that is an example of a woman building Africa, of not just a woman, a strong woman building something, thriving. You have a space where every youth, every woman, every child can thrive, not just survive only. Because since our system taught us to survive, you build something special. So let me ask you this question. How are women already shaping Africa's future in ways we often overlook?
I think usually when we think about shaping Africa or shaping society, we only think about people that are maybe in politics, or usually when we think about shaping a community or shaping Africa continent, we only think about politics or things that are widely seen. But I believe that many women in their daily lives, they shape Africa in ways that are invisible. I don't think they're necessarily invisible, but I think they're not recognized. For example, if I take the DRC, I think 80% of the population, they live under the poverty line. But you have many women that wake up every day to sell bread because they have to feed their children. maybe their husbands passed away or they're single mothers and they wake up every day to sell bread, to be able to make a little bit of money so their children will be able to eat, so their children will be able to go to school. And that woman that is making that sacrifice to wake up every morning, to sell bread, to stand on the corner and sell food, maybe she herself, she's not educated, but to make sure that her children are educated. Maybe one of her children is one of the presidents of the future nation of the nature one of the future presidents of the nation, or one of the major politicians, or one of her children will become um, a major businessman or businesswoman. Even the teachers in school that are educating the children, they are shaping the future of Africa, especially if they are women, even if they are men. So those are things that are sometimes overlooked. I don't know how it's like in the rest of Africa because I don't have a lot of experience on that. But I do know that, for example, in Congo, one of the issues is that there's a lot of delay in payments. For example, teachers don't always get paid on time. But what the government or what people don't understand is that they are not just filling their times by teaching children how to do maths or how to spell, but they are actually creating future for these children. They're actually helping these children to become the future of the nation. And sometimes just by these little things where you see that the teachers are not always paid, it actually shows that their work is not always valued, while they are actually the people that are helping to shape Africa. So that's a bit what I can say about that.
Thank you so very much, Ma, for that response. So
No, it's
I guess
fine.
what you're trying to say, shaping the woman, shaping Africa's future in ways we often overlook. We know that these young kids, these young girls, the future of Africa. And we know that their background sometimes is not always pleasant.
Mm,
Some women go to the extent of working so they can send their children to school. But we know that these people, these girls, they can become a good person in future. Thank you
yes.
for that. So, what mindset shift do African women need to lead the future, not just to participate in it? We all know that the question is always, how do we support you? How do we help you? But we don't want to ask you that, what are you really creating? What are you building? So what mindset do you think African women need to lead the future, not just to participate in it, not just to be a support? Because all the time we are always a support. We are always like, okay, I can have a woman to support me in building this. They don't used to. It is not always a woman can build this. A woman can create this. So, what
Mm.
mindsets do you think, Ma, that African women need to lead the future?
I think the number one mindset is you need to allow yourself to think outside of the box, and you need to believe in yourself. And sometimes what people think is believing in yourself is being that you're never afraid or you never doubt yourself. But that's actually not always true. Like sometimes believing in yourself is actually shown in the fact that even if you are fearful, even if you're uncertain, even if you do not know if it's going to work out or not, that you still take the risk of doing it. And I think that is the number one thing, is to think outside of the box and to do it even though you're scared. And especially if you come out of an environment where it seems that what you want to do or what you would like to do, you do not see other people also doing it. So because of that, you can become fearful. You're like, nah, I'm just going to be like everybody else. But there's always, in every generation, you need a pioneer. In every generation, you need somebody that does it for the first time. And most likely to people outside, you will look as if you're crazy, as if you don't know what you're doing. But you need to learn to think outside of the box. And also, I think you said something very powerful, is that we women, we are usually put in a position where we are not necessarily in the forefront, but that we are more people that support, to say it like that. And I do believe that, for some women, they, how can I put it best? The fact that you are leading, or the fact that you want to be in the forefront, it doesn't make you less of a woman than somebody that maybe wants to be in the background. Because I think sometimes people think that no, as a woman, you need to be shy, you need to be in the background, you can only support the man, or you can only support. But sometimes, as I said, I'm a believer, sometimes God can put something in you that causes you to be in the field with men, that causes you to be surrounded by men, and that you are actually one of the leaders. And I do believe that in such circumstances, it doesn't mean that you are less of a woman. It doesn't make you automatically a man. You are still a woman. You can still operate as a woman in your feminine energy, but you need to allow yourself to believe in yourself and to be like, in as much as I am a woman, in as much as I'm doing something in a male dominated field, or I'm doing something that nobody else in my family has done, I can still do it. So to answer your question, I would really say like you need to think outside of the box. And you need to dare to believe in yourself. You need to dare to do it even though you're scared. So that's what I would say to that question.
Thank you so very much, Ma. I believe and I feel that somebody, a girl child that is watching this, that thinks that, oh, I haven't seen somebody doing this thing in my family. You think that you are the first person that will start doing it, and it starts to just deteriorate your motivation. You feel like, oh, I cannot do this thing because you did not see somebody to just like encourage you on doing whatever you want to do. And the first thing you said is to believe in yourself and think outside the box. Think of something that can actually change whatever you want to do, that can actually build, that can actually grow and develop whatever you want to be. Just think outside and be yourself. Remember to be yourself. Don't be like, oh, I'm a woman, I cannot do this thing. You can just like start. The first thing is to start, so when you start, then you know the next step to continue with. So, ma'am, I would love to ask this question. I was supposed to ask this in the beginning of this interview or
That's right.
conversation. Let's see it as a conversation. So, what is the motivation behind Zolangi Foundation? Why did you build a foundation like that? What inspired you to build a foundation like that?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So, Zolangi actually in my father's tribal language, it actually means love. So I want everybody that encounters Zolangi Foundation that's held by us to experience a form of love. So what happened was that when I was 5 years old, my father passed away, and it had a very big impact on my life. And so I grew up with a single mother. I grew up with my sisters and I have a brother. And as I said in the beginning, I grew up in the Netherlands, but every time when I would go to Congo, I would feel drawn to go to orphans because I know how it feels like to not have a parent. But the difference for me is, of course, is my conditions were different. I had my mom, and also I lived in a European country. But in as much as the conditions were and are different, there is an unspoken language that everybody understands if you have lost a parent. It is like a universal language. Doesn't matter if you're in China, doesn't matter where you are, it's a universal language. So I was always drawn to that. So I would always want to give my clothes, give my things. And based on that, I just started Zolange Foundation because I wanted people to feel loved. That's what I want. I wanted the orphans to feel loved, even though they were living in orphanage, even though they did not have any parents. So when I started out, I just wanted to help people. But with the years, I found out that that is not sustainable. You cannot help everybody. You cannot help the whole of Congo. So I had to sit with myself and say, like, okay, what is important to me? What are the things that I find important, or the things that I find interesting? And as I said, I'm really drawn to orphans, to children. I'm really drawn to youth. I'm really drawn to women. I'm drawn to women empowerment. I'm drawn to education. I'm somebody, I love to learn. I love to read. And I really believe that education is the future. I believe that everybody should have the right to education. I believe in being healthy. If you are not healthy as a person, whether it is mentally or physically, it doesn't matter if you have access to education. It doesn't matter if you have money. It doesn't matter what you have. Without your physical body, there's nothing really that you can do. Without having a sound mind, there's nothing really that you can do. So based on that, that's a bit of pillars that I placed for the foundation. And yeah, that's basically a bit the background.
Thank you so very much for that response. Oh wow, wow, wow. It's lovely. From the word Zolangi. Now I know the meaning of Zolangi now. It's love the way. So to all girl children that are listening to this, I think the Zolangi Foundation is an example of whatever you want to do, you go for it. You go for it and you do it. You can see what motivates Mom Ursula to do what she wants to do because she feels attracted to fans. She feels attracted to their experience because she has experienced half of it. Because it's a difference between you experiencing half of this person suffering and you are now saying the person that me that I'm experiencing this thing, definitely these people will be experiencing more than this. And she created a safe space for them. Thank you both so very much for that. So I'll be giving my co-hosts the chance to continue from here. Um,
For the opportunity all the way from Kenya. God bless you. Thank you so much, ma. So my first question is an observation, and then an observation that sparked my curiosity. So the thing is that I have come across many videos of women on social media whereby they've used AI to create stories in video formats. And I've also seen them use technology to create beautiful, high quality, in fact, clear cut images. And they've also used technology to create other creative content also. So my question is, how can African women become creators of AI and technology rather than just users of it?
I would say how to become a creator is first understanding what it is. So you need to understand what is AI, what is technology. You should understand what are the benefits of AI, what are the cons of AI. So I would say that is the first step. And also it comes back to education, you know, following, making courses on AI accessible to women, to youth, when I speak about education, education is not always having a bachelor's degree. Education is basically learning. And we should give people the opportunity to learn. We live in a generation, like, for example, now we are in different places. I don't know, I think all three of us are in different places, but because of the internet, we are connected. So it means that we live in a generation where education should be easier than it was maybe 20 or 30 years ago. So it all comes down to early education, creating courses where women, young ladies are taught about AI, are taught about technology, pushing women to enter into STEM fields. Um, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I launched a scholarship for women in STEM in DRC to push women to enter into STEM fields, to enter into mathematics, to enter into technology, so that it will allow them to be able to be creators of things like AI. Generally speaking, it is said, I mean, I don't believe in that because I also studied STEM. It is said that STEM is for men. Technology is for men, IT is for men, biology is for men, mathematics is for men. It's not true. God has given brains to men and to women. As a woman, you can be an IT nerd, you can be a doctor, you can be a mathematician, you can come up with courses in AI. So it all comes down to education and making it accessible. People that are willing to create courses, a 3-week course, a 1-week course, a 3-day course, especially in Africa, as there is issues with finances, so making things free online. So yeah, that's really what I can say about that.
Okay, thank you, ma. That was deep. So, dear lady, as you're listening, everything still boils down to you improving yourself. learning. Whatever you know you're interested in, oh, you're interested in AI, go online. There are a lot of opportunities. Like she said, she created a scholarship opportunity, and there are so many thousands of opportunities like that. So far you have interest in something, they just go online. Oh, how can I go about this? And luckily, there are a lot of foundations that are even creating classes for this AI, for how to be a creator. So, and again, your gender should not be a barrier for you. All you just have to do is to believe in yourself, be determined, and then improve on yourself. Having a foundational knowledge about something is not enough. You have to you have to develop yourself. So thank you so much, ma. So another question I have is, leadership comes with different challenges, right? For some people it can be human management. They can have issues with probably how to manage people. For some people it could be anger management. And there are so many challenges that leaders face. So my question is, what personal challenge has most shaped your leadership journey?
What personal challenge? I would say I'm gonna name two. One I'm gonna say very quick. I think I already mentioned it in one of the questions. Is doing things even though I'm scared or even though I don't fully know what the outcome will be. That's really one of the challenges that I have to face almost daily, weekly, monthly. And the second thing is I had to learn to have a contingency plan, so to always have a plan B. So last year in August, I did a back to school festival for orphans in Congo, in Kinshasa. And I had a lot of donations when it came to school supplies that came from the Netherlands, and they had to get shipped to Congo for to get shipped for us to distribute it to the orphans during the festival. And I think we shipped it. I think 3 months in advance. So normally speaking, it should have come even before I would have arrived in Congo, but there were issues after issues to the point that the shipment didn't come on time. I think it came like a month and a half, almost 2 months after the event. And for me, it was very stressful. And for me, it was like, okay, are we going to continue with the event? What am I going to do? So last minute, I had to, I think if I remember correctly, some people donated and I also had to take money from my personal funds. We bought little school supplies there in Congo, and that is what we distributed for that day. But one of the lessons that it taught me is to have always a plan B, is to have a contingency plan. You can have a plan and you're like, let's just say, I don't know, you're planning an event and you say the budget is $5,000. We're going to have this person, we're going to do that. Even during the event, because we had different workshops, the one of the workshop leaders, they didn't show up. So literally on the spot, we had to figure out how to fill the gap. So it really taught me to always have a plan B, just in case, just in case something goes wrong. So if, for example, your event, you planned, you budget 5,000, just say for contingency sake, we're gonna have $500 more, just in case for there's an emergency. What if somebody doesn't show up? What do we do in that case? So that's one of the things that I had to learn, that sometimes you have to prepare in case of an emergency. So even at my workplace, in the Netherlands, usually what they do is like every month or every once in a while, they do an exercise with everybody in the company of what you're supposed to do in case that there is a fire. I mean, this far, I've never experienced any fires at any of my workplaces, but just in case that there is a fire, we know what to do. Because once in a while, they fake a fire, and then we have to, and then we know what needs to be done. And that's actually the same with leadership, is if you are preparing an event, you're preparing a program, you're preparing an outreach, you always need to have a plan B just in case a fire breaks out. Let's just say it like that.
Wow. Thank you, ma. So, leadership comes with strategy. In fact, to be a good leader, you have to be a strategic person. And as she said, you have to always have plan B. Don't put your eggs inside one basket. Just because someone has told you that, oh, I will handle the decoration, and then you just fully believe in the person without not thinking that, oh, what if? So you have to always have there has to be always what if in the situation. Yes, and so you have to be willing to take risk. If you are not willing to take risk, you cannot go far in life. And then you have to be strategic. Thank you, thank you. So, and another one is that, so it is important to think about the steps that need to be taken today to create opportunities for the next generation of women leaders. So, what must Africa do today to ensure women lead the future by 2040?
I would say that the women that already have certain positions or the women that have certain knowledge, in this generation, there's this phrase where they call gatekeeping. So it means that these women should not gatekeep. So if, for example, you are a woman that knows a lot about technology, you're a woman that knows a lot about public speaking, you know a lot about whatsoever. Um, be a woman that also likes to pass down knowledge. So I think that the women in Africa, what they need to do is they need to pass down knowledge. They need to teach the next generation. They need to be open to mentorship. In Africa, women usually what women are taught is how to clean the house, how to cook, those are things that the previous generation they love to give that knowledge to us, they love to give the knowledge. But I think that in this generation and generations to come, besides learning our daughters, our friends, our neighbors how to cook, how to clean, if you are knowledgeable about AI, if you you can start small just in your neighborhood. You just round up the primary school kids in your neighborhood, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to teach you guys about AI. If you are somebody for the past 6 months, you are every day on YouTube, you're learning about financial literacy, just round up the teenage girls in your nearby high school and just be like, every Saturday I'm going to teach you girls about financial literacy, about how to budget, about how to do this, how to do that. I believe that that is what's going to help, because the truth is, as I said, education goes further than just going to school. I believe in going to school. So education in terms of going to school, that should be accessible to everyone, women, girls, everyone. But I also believe, now that I'm a bit older, I've also learned that school doesn't teach you everything. So experience will teach you certain things. So instead of waiting for the little girl that you see in your neighborhood to experience what you have experienced, why don't you take the little girl and be like, this is what I learned when I was 20. Instead of me waiting for you to make the same mistakes, I'm going to tell you what I learned so that you do not need to make the same mistakes. So I believe that besides education, when it comes in terms of going to school, is very important. I also believe that mentorship is very important, and that women should be willing to mentor the next generation, to mentor their younger sisters, to mentor the little girls in their neighborhood. So yeah.
Thank you, ma. So I also believe in sisterhood a lot. I believe as a lady, once you have knowledge about something, there is nothing bad in helping others. And as she said, as you truly said, there are some things that you only learn by experience. When I went for my internship, there are so many things that I learned within it was just within 2 months. And then all through my 5 years journey, because in my final year I didn't even come across any of them. So as she said, as a lady, you can give back to those young girls. You don't have to wait to your national TV or something. You can even start with your neighbors. Oh, I know I have knowledge about AI. I have knowledge about this. You can teach those young girls. So in fact, they will even get busy with that, and they'll be motivated and inspired. So at this junction, I would like to hand over to my hosts, Miss Miriam.
Thank you so very much for all these responses that has been made. I really love the learning and because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I'm just trying to be mute. I've learned a lot. So let me now start spelling it out. So from the leadership part where you said you have to think outside the box. You know, for a woman, we know that there's this soft part in us that whenever things happens to us like this, we'll be like, is it because I'm a woman? Is that the reason why he did not show up? Maybe it is now happening to the other gender now. Is that the reason why? Because we do not have this plan B. Because you think that, oh, I trust this person. This person will definitely come. And it just happens like that. Oh, my trusted he didn't later make it. You know, we have to have plan for anything, even if it might be hard. Just make sure that that plan B can solve the situation at that moment. Because leadership is a big thing. Is a very very big thing for that. So I appreciate that knowledge, and I hope somebody that is watching this video is also learning from it as well. So when it comes to the second part where you said, and this is always the normal thing they see as a woman doing. They'll tell you that a woman, what will a woman do? You will end up in the kitchen. So that's the mentality. So I wanted to speak, but I just said no, it will soon be my time. So let me speak now because we all know that women can build the future. Women can create the future of Africa. We can do it. In fact, if it is because you are in your environment, you do not see what women outside are doing. You do not see how women outside are involving. You do not see how women they are sharing their knowledge, how women are building that technology with their knowledge. It is because you see yourself centered in one place. That is why you think that that mentality of women will always end up in the kitchen is your own. But I think that you are listening to that as a parent, as a woman, you shouldn't tell your children, you shouldn't tell your girl children to just like leave themselves to whatever they want to do, maybe nonchalant attitude, and you see that this girl is going astray, and because you know or you think that they will end up in the kitchen, you do not bother to just like give them that keen interest in taking their education seriously. You see them as a girl child that can't build anything in life. No, women can actually build, they can create the future of Africa. So that's number. From where you said mentorship, when she asked the question 2040, I actually smiled because I was thinking that I guess we will be like, as 2040 come, 2040 is not here. Now, why are we now why are we not working towards what is present? Why are we working towards well, I love that response, the response that you just made to answer that question, because knowledge is not something that is static. It's something that is evolving and it is changing. So the more you are sharing it to the next generation, to those that are coming up, you know that those ones can even renovate it into something better, because we know that the technology we are using then is not the one we are using now. Everything is changing because we already had the knowledge before. But now we know that this is an advanced stage. So you teaching them, because we have some women, I don't know, we have some women that would think that, oh, this my knowledge, I'll just keep it to myself. I'll just keep it to myself. Because I have witnessed a business owner that she's doing fine. She's into buying and selling. And when our fellow women was like, oh, can you teach me this? I can see that your business is thriving and all of that. So now for her to now share that knowledge is a problem to her. So she said she doesn't teach people how to build their business online. And how to build your own business online. No, I don't know what to call that, but I hope that you will definitely, there'll be one day where you'll be like, oh, let me just mentor people, but you can even monetize it. Yes, you can, and people will appreciate it. You just have to share that knowledge so it can involve, so people can also learn from me as well, and you will even become a gem to them. Yes, you definitely become a real gem to them, because on the Speak With Our podcast here as well, we are inviting women from diverse fields and profession, as Ma'am Ursula Maboya is educating next generation young girls, every youth that are listening to this. They are learning as well, they are gaining more because it is free. This recorded video will definitely be uploaded on YouTube, and you just watch it at your convenient time, at your convenient period. So life is very, very easy. Let's just take it as easy as that. So thank you so very much for coming. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Thanks for everything. Thank you so very much. I don't know if you have anything to say to the girl child that think that I want to build the future of Africa now with all that has been said, and a girl that does not have any knowledge on leadership, on how to build herself, and this moment made her to make a positive affirmation to herself that, oh, I want to build a future of Africa. Do you have anything to say to that girl?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you that I was allowed to be here. Um, what I can say is the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So it means that which that you want to do, there is most likely somebody somewhere in the world that is already doing it. So if, for example, you want to grow in leadership, you want to grow in communication, as I said, maybe there's nobody in your environment, in your direct environment that does it. But as I said, the Bible said there's nothing new under the sun. So there's somebody somewhere that does it. So we live in an interconnected world because of the internet. So whenever you get data and you go on your phone, instead of scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, whatsoever, you can go on YouTube, you type in leadership, women in leadership, communication, public speak, whatever it is that you want to grow in. There are thousands and thousands of free videos. And the people online on YouTube that maybe that you've never met before, they can be your mentor. You can pick a person that you resonate with. You can pick a person you like their message, you like the way that they speak. You listen to them, you practice with it, and with that you can also grow. So I don't believe that there is a limit. I believe that it is possible. And we just need to work with what we have. If the only thing that you have is a phone and internet, you already have enough. Because as I said, because of the internet, we are interconnected. You can follow somebody that lives in America, even though you live in Nigeria. You can follow somebody that lives in China, even though you live in Congo. So as long as you have your phone and you have your internet, go on YouTube, use your time wisely. You know, there are a lot of free books online. Use your time wisely, read books, ask questions. If there is somebody in your neighborhood that you like what they do, ask them to mentor you. I'm pretty sure that everybody would feel honored if somebody comes to them and be like, can you be my mentor? Ask them questions. Spend the whole day with them, see what they are doing. And I believe that just with that, you're going to go very far. Just look in your environment and find something, even though it is something small, that you can use for you to get where you want to get to.
You're muted, Miss Miriam. Miss Miriam, your mic is muted.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I didn't notice. So thank you so very much for that response, ma'am. For the ones that are watching this video and you think that this is your limit, this is what I can do. No, don't stop there. Don't let that be the strength for you to move. Let that be the strength for you to start. Let that be the fuel that will allow you to continue doing what you love. And what you just said is very, very important. Where you said there's no idea, there's no new idea that you think you want to bring into Africa and someone has been done it. Somebody has already done it. Somebody has already had that idea before. Check online. You have social media now is very, very wide. You can follow anybody. You can see that we actually invited somebody from Kenya and we are not even seeing her. So it is through social media that we met, and now she's with us. We are discussing, we are in the conversation. So online is very, very wide, so you can do whatever you want to do. Learn. You have your YouTube app, you can learn from it. You think that, oh, this is where you are lagging, and don't stop there. Don't let that be your limit as well. So continue thriving and continue believing in yourself. So Miss Onoyemi, I don't know if you have anything to add to this as well.
Well, I want to firstly appreciate our guest speaker. It is not easy because we are in a very, very busy world, and it's obvious that she's a busy person, but she still decided to speak to us. Thank you so much, ma. So one of the things that I just want to, like as Miss Miriam said, you should maximize your time effectively, and as our guest speaker also said the same thing. Okay, the thing is that one thing that I've observed, because I've spoken with few people, I observed that they say something like, oh, enjoy yourself, take a break, but in the bid to enjoy themselves, they tend to overdo it, and that tends to affect their productivity. Okay, let's say that no one is saying you should not rest. No one is saying you should not rest. And no one is saying you should work for 5 hours without resting. But then do it in moderacy. Be moderate about it. Okay, you said you want to rest, but you've been on TikTok rather, sorry, for the past 3 hours without doing anything. So what I'll also I'm just trying to add to what she said. I'm trying to emphasize on what they both said, which is maximize your time effectively. Do everything in moderacy. If you're going to go out, oh, you want to unwind, you want to relax, do everything so it doesn't affect your productivity. So with this few point of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you.
I want to ask a question. I just thought of it now, and it's actually lingering. And I said, "Stop! I will ask." So the question is, how did you become a global ambassador of United Nations Leaders Global? How did it
Um,
happen?
how did it happen? So, last year actually, I it was actually my first time that I started applying for fellowships. And the first fellowship that I applied to was from United Leaders Global. It was called the NextGen Women Leadership Fellowship. And it was basically a fellowship for women aged 18 to 35 who wanted to grow in their leadership and who are also in the social impact space. And it was the first fellowship I applied to, and I also got accepted into. And it was 6 months. It was from June. Was it from June? Yeah, it was from June until December. So it was 6 months. And during that time, I think bi-weekly we had sessions on leadership. Um, we had to write a report, to make a project, do a presentation. So that's a bit how I entered in the system, to call it like that. And then around the end of last year, they came with the ambassador role. So they put out an announcement. So I also applied for that, and then I got accepted into the ambassadorship role. So now currently I'm an ambassador for ULG, and I think 2 weeks ago I had the privilege to lead a session with all of the ambassadors and to tell them also about my experience as a NextGen fellow, and to give them information on how to apply and how to do the workshop. So that's a bit how that happened. I'm not sure. I think right now the fellowship is, I think the applications are closed now, or they're about to close. So, but if you are a woman aged 18 to 35, I can always ask if they can reopen and see if it's going to work, if it's closed. But if you're a woman aged 18 to 35 and you're interested in leadership, I would really recommend for you to apply. I learned a lot because of the fellowship. I also got connected with other women that I would have never known, because it's a global fellowship. So, until today, I'm in contact with people from Haiti, Brazil, like different countries. So it's actually also one of the opportunities, because today we were also speaking about opportunities and grabbing opportunities. So it's one of the opportunities that will help you in your leadership. So yeah, that's a bit the story behind it.
That wants to go into leadership and is interested in having this next gen fellowship. And can you just share the link, or is it nextgen.com, or is it www.nextgen?
I don't have the exact link, but what you can do is either on Google or on LinkedIn, even on Instagram and on Facebook, you can also find it. You just type United Leaders Global. So if you scroll on their page, you're going to find about the fellowship, even on their website. So even if you go on Google and you type United Leaders Global, you're going to find their website. And on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, you're going to find their page. And yeah, there you will find the information of the fellowship. So I'm not sure if I'm doubting. I don't know if the application closed like this month, but there is maybe a chance that they will reopen it again. But just in case, if people want to apply and it's closed, you can maybe send me a message or whatsoever, and then I'm gonna ask, if maybe there's an opportunity for it to be reopened. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for that information. I truly appreciate that. Thank you for giving us for free.
No problem at all.
Okay, because it is actually free, because this is an opportunity for somebody that is watching this video and wants to go into leadership, and you think that, oh, how do I go about it? This is a global opportunity. It is not something you can take for granted, of course. So you should actually thank Miss Ursula Maboya for this information. We appreciate you for that one. So I don't want to end this episode because it's actually interesting, but we don't have choice but to draw the curtain. So, as you all know, that we've been able to learn one or two. We actually learned a lot on leadership on this episode, and we learned a lot on how a woman can build the future of your own, now building the future of Africa. You don't need to limit yourself. You have to think out of the box, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to involve. If you have any knowledge, you have something to share to the world. Do not gatekeep. Don't gatekeep. Give the young generation, give the next generation, share it with them. Let them involve as well with you. Let them see you as a mentor. So this is the end of Women Creating the Future of Africa. Thank you, Ma, for coming. We truly appreciate you, Ma. And thanks to my amazing co-host, Ms. Onoyemi. Thank you so very much, Ma. So bye for now.